Alright everybody, here we are, and let's just simply continue working on that. So let's just see if everything's up and running, and after that we'll just simply get going from here on. Okay, overall setup is ready, and let's just work on this. So this is the first thing. Ultimately we have to create one more hook over here, and that will be calling finish editing. So this function is actually gonna be getting called this is the use frame section, right? So over here finish editing, and this was actually being used here if I'm not wrong. So let me see this thing. So if I actually go to interactions manager right now, so it was finish frame editing. Okay, but that's not really gonna be used now anymore. We'll be getting rid of it. And apart from this particular thing, what else? This particular thing is done. Coming back to this use frame, so from here I'm actually exporting finish editing. So ultimately this is something that's gonna be used. Canvas.tsx, and this frame editor as expected. This is the one being used here, so not really a problem. So what I'm actually gonna do right here, that is closing this, and over here I have a use effect. It's gonna be just as simple as that. It actually depends on finish editing, or it should rather be finish frame editing. Okay, that's fine. This is gonna be just for the frame only. And window dot or just document dot add event listener, pointer down, handle finish frame editing, const handle finish, or I can just do one thing, that this one is just gonna be getting called in here. Not really, it's not gonna be like that. Finish frame editing, and this is gonna be sort of like this. We'll have one more return remove event listener, pointer down, and coming back to this, I'll get the event pointer event. And the next thing that I need to check, that is the frame. I have frame input and frame name input ref, right? So if frame name input ref dot current, if it doesn't contain event dot target as node, so the place where I actually clicked, if it doesn't contain that, so if I'm clicking on the input itself, so it definitely contains that, so it will be true to false, and if I click outside it will be false, so it will become true. And in that case finish editing, and that is it. So let me see if it works or not. Am I facing the network issue? I think I need to keep my mobile somewhere where there's good network area, in the good network area, but okay. As for right now, let's try creating the this is interesting because but okay, never mind. As of right now, I'll go with the probably create frame is created, and if I actually click outside, it gets saved, right? If I just change the name, if I click out, it just simply sort of works. So great, no need to worry about this as such. So this is working. And apart from this particular thing, let me see if something can be better here, or it's already good. Let's see. I'm actually gonna be keeping it on the left and right, sort of like this, and this is better. So yes, this is clean. I'd only make two small improvements. Only listen while editing. There's no need to keep the event listener active when input isn't visible. That is right. So if not editing, so I have to just simply return from here. So that's great. So we have to continue with this. But if I'm not really editing, so it's no use to just simply listen that. So not is editing. Well, I don't really have that editing. So return from here. But the thing is that I don't really have this is editing value. So in that case, frame editing state, if I have the frame editing state, that simply means I'm editing, because by default frame editing still can still be null as well, right? So if I have that, so if I don't have frame editing state, then we have to return from there, and that's the thing that gonna be done. And it actually gonna depend on two things. So finish editing, and it's gonna depend on frame editing state. So these two things it depends on, and ultimately it is this use effect. So handles frame handles finish frame text editing. So this is how it's gonna be going on. And apart from this particular thing, there's one last thing that we have, and that last thing is the context related section, right? So let's go to the context, because over there we have to cancel it as well. So we have to just simply sort of close the context, right? So we already have this use context menu, and update is not really being used, so let's just simply get rid of this. So I'll be removing it from here as well. And we have this use state over here, this one. So let's just simply keep it at the top. So we have this menu over here that simply has the default state, and especially when I'm closing, so what will happen, I have closed context menu, and this one simply sets it to the default one. So instead of passing this thing there, I think this definitely needs to be passed as well, but when we click outside, it should be closed too. So coming back to this, what I'll do, that if not if actually just, and again same use effect, rather this time I'm gonna copy paste a few things. So this use effect is sort of gonna be the same, many things are gonna change, but overall we'll have it here. First of all, let's get rid of this. Second, again this doesn't really need to depend on this, it will depend on close context menu. And this is gonna be handle close context menu. So handle close context menu, sort of like this. Once this is done, so handle close context menu. And if okay, it turns out that we have two refs over here, selection ref I have and menu ref I have. The question is that which one should be closed? In that case, in both the cases we have to just simply close, right? So if we just click outside, yeah, so if selection menu ref dot current, if it doesn't contain this, and if canvas menu ref dot current dot contains and event dot target as node, if they do not contain the value, they do not contain the current clicked target, so in that case I have to just simply close the context menu, and that is it. So this is how it should be going on. So let me see if it works, and let me give it to the AI as well, so that it can just give me some suggestions and all. And meanwhile I'll actually bring it here. Let me get that looks better. So ultimately if I click outside, it completely disappears, right? And let me draw an image, and if I actually click suppose copy link, it disappears directly as well. So that's what we wanted. If we click outside, it goes. So yeah, it is sort of working as expected. So this is the first thing that we've done. So ultimately closing related thing actually is, it's handled well. So handles close context menu. So this particular thing is done as well. This is good implementation, that is great. One more optimization: if only one of these menus can ever be open, you can attach the listener only to menu is open. What does it mean? If not open, we are gonna return from here. That's not really a bad option either. When it is open, yeah, that's right. So we can just return it if that's not open. Fine with this. So if not open, in that case I'm just simply gonna return from here. And apart from this particular thing, if it actually contains the if it actually contains the current element, I'm gonna return, otherwise I'm gonna be closing this. So this is a better way to structure it, so not really a bad thing at all. Same structure I'd like to follow in this one as well. So when it comes to frame editor, not this one actually, we have this huge context menu, then I actually need to go to the frame, this one, and over here what I'm saying, that if it actually contains, so if frame input ref contains the current target, so I'm gonna return from here. If it doesn't contain, then I'm gonna just finish. Doesn't contain, that simply means we are clicking outside, so we'll just simply finish it. Same thing I want to do for the text. So text editing state, so the use effect that actually used over here, if text area actually contains the target, that simply means I'm clicking inside the text area itself, and I'll just simply return from here. But if that doesn't contain, that simply means I click the outside, and this is how it will go on. Not only that, this use effect that I actually have here, so if not text editing state, I'll just simply return from here. So this is how it's gonna be going on. So only when I have the text editing state, it should be working. And this text editing state is also gonna be one of the dependencies over here. And apart from this particular thing, that is it. So let's get rid of this one. And apart from this, we have frame editing state, that's already a dependency over here. We have this open, so that also needs to be one of the dependencies. So this is how it just simply goes on. Great, quite refactored better. And now what is the next thing? The next thing that we actually have to focus on, that is this selected menu, because as of right now it's quite scattered and there are a lot of components. So what I'm actually gonna do, that is get rid of this one. So I already have another component ready, so I'm gonna be getting the things from here. So first of all, we will have again, it's not like we can copy paste everything. We'll get what is needed to be used. So first of all, this is gonna be the thing. and I think I need to even work on this. This much is just not enough. It even needs to have the actions, and when it comes to those actions I need to assign them. Okay, so when it comes to the action over here, I don't really have the menu item, that's fine. These menu items that I actually have, they are good to be here, but the actions that are considered, so I'd better just pass the action directly, otherwise I'll have to I'll have to identify them and then add the action. That is not gonna be good. So it's better to add the action directly, and the action can only be added when that's inside the component itself, so I'm gonna actually keep it here. And the second thing is the type of that, so that's easy to get that, so let's just simply get the type from here itself. It's not like I'll be, let's cut it only, I mean, let's not cut it, that's not a good thing. So let's just simply copy this type, and these things are yet to be completed. There are many actions over here, that is why it may get problematic. Later we'll have to refactor this better, and as of right now I'm just gonna keep the type in here so that I have the type for the menu item. And once we actually have this, now we have to just simply loop through that. And before even that, this particular thing is done. In context menu, I will be getting on close. Okay, that is fine. And then we have these, so what all we can just simply copy from here. I think let's just simply copy it all. Well, that wouldn't be great. Yeah, we can do that. Instead of just getting things then we will remove if something is not needed, so we can get rid of that then and there. But as of right now, let's just simply copy it all. And what I'll actually do in here, that is from here I'll actually remove everything. I'll rewrite the code if few things are missing, but ultimately this is how it's gonna be going on. On close we don't have many things, we don't have, so we are gonna be just simply having them in here. And these are the functions that are gonna be used, and they're gonna be later added as well. Order dot bring forward, that is such a good thing, in the sense, if one function doesn't do quite a lot of things, so that can easily be, what the hell, it's quite a big one, so that can easily be wrapped, I mean it can directly be used like these ones, so we don't really need to worry about these. So let's just simply get rid of these, even delete shapes, duplicate shapes, we hardly need to worry about them, so let's just simply get rid of it all. Okay, we have the use, and let's do one thing, delete. I'm gonna have duplicate, deletion, that is also fine. And apart from this particular thing, from the menu I'm getting open X, Y, and the target, exactly which target is open right now. And we have the close context menu that is gonna be used for closing that. We have selection menu, ref, and over selection menu, ref, that is fine. Pointer ref, that is also fine. Coming back to this, we need to have open some menu and set some menu. This simply stores the name of the menu, so we will get rid of it. Some menu position, some menu, set some menu position, that is fine, so let's just simply use it here. Adjusted main position, set adjusted this, that is also fine. And this use ref, think about it, some menu ref and main menu ref, we don't really have need to have them here. Just a minute, we need to have it some menu and main menu, because they are the part of the either selection menu ref or the canvas menu ref, so that is fine, no problem as such. And I'd actually like to keep it at the top over here. So these are the things that we have. Set shapes and all these things are sort of fine, and adjust the main menu to keep the position. Okay, that is fine. It just simply adjusts that. I'll just re-explain it, so not really a big problem. But adjust the main menu position to keep it on screen. So this is for the main menu, and there is a problem. I am adjusting it right here, right? But at the end of the day, this should rather be adjusted inside the context menu. So get menu position, and this is where it is adjusted, so we'll have to move the code here and there, not a problem. So we still have to adjust it. We have on close, so whenever we click outside, so we don't really need to have it here, first of all, this thing. Second, when it comes to adjusting this, that simply means we are just simply getting the x and y coordinates, and when it comes to x and y coordinates, it is mainly for the main menu ref. So the coordinates for the main menu ref, so I'll actually copy it from here, and whenever the value of x and y changes, at that time it's just simply recalculated. Coming back to this one, we have get menu position, that's just simply used inside get menu position. We have x and y, and we just simply return it from here. Well, that's not really a big problem. We have to just simply set it there. So whenever that's called, it just simply set get menu target. We just simply get the, not this one either. Where is this being used? This is where it's being used. So open context menu. As soon as the context menu actually opens, at that time we are just simply getting the menu position, and we are just simply setting the position over here. Open context menu. So open context menu is actually triggered whenever we click right, that is okay. So if I actually go to this open context menu, so whenever we right click, at that time we use it, and open context menu is actually being passed here. So now if I go to the manager right now, and the right click at the, we don't really have right click over here. So the question is that where do I have that function? So if I go to the canvas.tsx, whenever I right click on what? Whenever I right click on context menu, so that is this one. Where is this on context menu comes from? On context menu actually comes from the canvas on context menu, open context menu. Alrighty, so on context menu, this is triggered, that is fine. We are just simply using the open context menu right here, and that's good as well. Great. Coming back to this one, so this one, not this one actually, selected shape, there are a lot of things. Then use context menu, we get the position like this, we get the position, get menu position like this. So ultimately this is sort of fine as well. With the help of the event, we actually get the menu over here, and we get the menu offset. So menu offset height, menu offset width, and that is better. So in that case, I'm gonna be just simply combining both in the sense, copy it from here and actually get rid of it completely. We don't need to have it in here. and let's go to this one. And as of right now, I'm actually gonna keep it here, and whatever the things are actually required, so we'll keep them there. As of right now, we have this selection menu ref and canvas menu ref, and that's actually gonna be one of the it's problematic. mm, it's all about x and y coordinates, right? So it doesn't really depend on the main menu canvas ref, that's fine. And then using this I get the value of main menu canvas ref, so we just pass the menu over here. So as the menu is actually passed, so let me comment this one for a while. So what is happening that we are directly passing the menu, so whenever we need them we are gonna be passing the right kind of menu, right? So in that case, so I'll just do one thing, that's gonna be menu. So whatever menu that is, that can be either what selected menu, selected shape, or the empty canvas. We are getting the client rect. So ultimately menu dot get bounding client rect, it simply returns me these uh, the information about the menu, whatever whichever that is. And just after that we got this rect, and this rect is actually being used. So rect dot right gives me the right coordinate. So rect dot right we have, and then we have rect dot left over here, rect dot width, rect dot height. But what I actually want here, that is mm, adjusted x and y, they are fine. The menu that I'm actually getting, there are two things, right? With the menu I can directly get the width and height, or I can use this one. It is gonna give us the width and height, as well as it will give us the start. Ultimately it will give us this right and left value, right and bottom. Select dot right, so where it is exactly on the right side, where it is exactly on the bottom, so I get that. So earlier what was I using? I was using event dot client x and event dot client y, and right now y is gonna be math dot max window dot padding, and over here we were getting the minimum value from here. So event dot client y window inner this, so we were getting the minimum value from here. So either event dot client y or this one, whichever is minimum, is gonna be returned from here, and then the max value is gonna be used over here, that is fine. And what else is happening over here, that we are directly getting this value in here. So window height that we have minus rect dot height. So window height minus height I calculated using offset, so rect dot height is also fine. And then the padding that I subtracted earlier, that is also okay. The only difference is that we are actually getting the minimum value initially, and but before even that there is a check that we have here. So this part is gonna be running when rect dot bottom is greater than window. So this is gonna returns bottom reads only property from DOM read only interface returns the bottom coordinate value of the DOM rect has the same value as y plus height, or y if height is negative, y plus height, right? So whatever the height is, rect dot bottom. Okay, so it's like it actually returns something as y plus height similarly, so has the same value as y plus height. So it's not just y, it is y plus height, right? And if it is greater than window height minus padding, then only at that time it's gonna be used. How about this one? Write read only property of the DOM React read only interface returns the right coordinate value of the DOM Rect. Right coordinate value of the DOM Rect the same has the same value as x plus width. So x plus width, or x if width is negative. So if the width actually becomes negative, so it will be just x. That is fine. So at the time padding is just gonna be used. In that case, what we are actually doing, that is window height, whatever the height that we have, minus padding. If it is rect dot bottom is greater, if menu goes off bottom edge, then this is used. Yeah, that makes sense, understandable. Only when it actually goes off the edges, then only we have to implement it. Otherwise, whatever the values we have to just simply use them. So that's not bad idea at all. And apart from this particular thing, this is how we go ahead. And if I'm actually willing to use event.client.ex, so in that case we don't need to have the check here then in unnecessarily. Yeah, that's fine. So we can go with both. We can go with this approach as well as this approach, as we are using this client direct, so it actually returns us the value. So let's go with this one as of right now. But yeah, ultimately we have both the pages over here. Then we have what is the issue, x and y. We don't really have the value of x and y over here. So just a sec, I think it actually comes from client itself. So whenever the value of x and y changes, that simply means they are the that's nothing but event.client x, and this is gonna be nothing but event.client y. So what is actually happening, that by default they will have these normal values, event.client x and event.client y. But if the menu that I actually have, that just simply goes off the edges, then I have to just simply adjust the width and height, and lastly I have to set the position. And when it comes to setting the position, so I have set menu over here. So just do one thing, set menu, and it actually returns us that, right? So I'm just simply gonna return x is gonna be adjusted x and y is gonna be adjusted y. And once it is actually returned, this is they're actually gonna be used over here and will be set. That's right. Few problematic things. What is that? Okay, this is fine. So this is what we've done. We are just simply calculating the right x and y coordinates, and we are just simply returning those coordinates from here. So we have get menu position. Once we have get menu position, so get menu target, exactly which one that is canvas or not. So when it comes to get menu target, this is definitely being used inside open context. So as soon as we open the context, if we don't have them, we return. Otherwise we check what is the menu target. So we just simply pass the client x and client y. When we pass this, it gets that, it gets the viewport, it gets the point. Once it actually gets the point, if the selected shape length is greater than 0, then that's definitely gonna be the canvas. Otherwise that's gonna be something else. So if it is greater than 0, if selected shapes are there and then we are clicking, so we have to check whether we are clicking on the selected shapes or not. So selectors are here, selected shapes are here, even we have the group bounds over here. So once we have the group bounds, is point in selection shape bounds, if that is so, we click selection is gonna be shown, otherwise canvas is gonna be shown when it comes to the menu. So this is one of the first things. And if nothing happened, that simply means there are no selected shapes as such. So at that time we have to check whether actually we are clicking on a shape or not. So if there's any hit shape or not. So when there are selected shapes, when there's no selected shape, so when there is no selected shape, so what we'll do, we'll just simply get the hit shape. If we actually clicked on any shape, then that's gonna be canvas, otherwise that's gonna be selection by default. and if we did not click on any shape, that's gonna be canvas. If we actually clicked on a shape, that's gonna be selection, or we can even keep it like this, not really big problem. If we didn't click on any shape, then we are returning canvas from here, and when we are returning canvas from here, set selected shape IDs should remain the same. If there is any hit shape, invalidate, that is insane. If we did not click on any shape, that simply means there is a hit shape, so we are gonna save the values. That is okay, understandable, and yeah, makes sense. We are invalidating it over here. That simply means when we return canvas, it's not really being invalidated. So hopefully, yeah, it's not really being invalidated. We don't need to invalidate it unnecessarily if we are not changing anything, because this is just the UI change. That is right. So yeah, this will sort of do the job. So get canvas, and once we just open, then we got like what is the position, and not only just the position, we even got the right target. And once we have them, so the target must have been saved inside this, so the target must be getting saved in here. I'm just, as I'm returning, so get menu target. Once we actually got the target, if the target is selection, okay, this is the target that we got. If the target is selection, then do this. If target is something else, do this, and we only get to know about it from here. And then get menu position. With the help of it, I just simply get the position of x and y, the adjusted ones, and then we just simply set the value, so that is also fine. And then when it comes to closing, so we just simply set it to default, and that's the only thing that is happening over here. Coming back to this one, this is not done yet actually. So we've gone through the first thing, that is good. Then we have mouse enter. The thing is that the mouse enter that we actually have, should I keep it here, or I should actually keep it inside context menu? Let me see. It should actually be part of context menu itself, so no problem as such. Let me see. I'm actually gonna keep it inside cut, and this is actually gonna be kept inside use menu context. Let me try keeping it here, and so menu item is definitely gonna be, don't I have menu item here? We have the menu state in this. That's insane. I'm actually gonna have the as for the types, we'll just simply keep them at the right places. As of right now, let me just simply get the menu item as well, and we just simply make it run first. So window padding, we'll keep it somewhere else safely as of right now. On handle mouse enter, so whenever the mouse enters the canvas, right, so HTML div element, now item dot sub menu, this item, so the item that's been passed over here, if it has the sub menu, in that case event.current target, that's gonna be the item that I actually clicked on, right? That is right. We are gonna be getting the bounding box of that, and once we actually have the bounding box, this is interesting. Let's first of all fix this one. So suppose I'm passing a sub menu over here, it is gonna return what? Handle mouse enter. So on the basis of that thing, it's just simply gonna set these values. That's not really a big problem. The only thing is that we have to calculate the sub menu x and sub menu y. So that simply means the coordinates of the sub menus, they need to be set, and we just have menu coordinates over here. Do I need to have the state related to sub coordinate? let me see, where should I keep the state of sub menu inside use context menu hook or inside the component itself? Let me see what it says regarding that. I would not keep it inside the component, not in the, I would keep it inside the component itself. That's what I was thinking. Hook use context manages the whether the context menu exists and where it is positioned. The context use context. Component manages how the menu behaves visually, including the hover, state, open, and all these things. So the sub menu should be actually part of that. So open, state, open, and all these things. That is right. So this is not really the best place to keep it here. So I'll actually get rid of these two things, because it only handles the main menu position and all, not the other ones. So in that case, I'll actually keep it in here. And when it comes to this, so we already have the sub menu, because we have the sub menu. What? First of all, we have the sub menu in the item, that is right. And not only that, we have the window inner height and inner width. Padding is also there. Some menu width, that's gonna be 256, and I don't think that's the best way to handle this. So what I'm actually gonna do, event.target, the thing is that we can get the value of what, we can get the height and width of the main menu. So can't we do the same thing with the sub menu? It can definitely be done, right? So we have the main menu ref, we have the sub menu ref, and earlier we got the selected shape menu as well. So I should definitely have the selection menu ref, right? This is actually gonna be the top one. So when it comes to the selection menu ref, so ref is actually gonna be this one. On close, we'll see exactly what's gonna come here. We have quite a lot of things they need to be handled, but as of right now, handle mouse enter. So item dot sub menu, if there is there, so event dot current target, what will it return? Get bounding client tag, that is fine, but what's gonna be the current target? Handle mouse enter, this is actually being called inside this. So handle mouse enter will have so it will be just one of the items, that is fine. What have I done? This is fine. So the event that's actually being passed in here, so event, so wherever I click I can only get the values of that. That simply means I'm not really clicking on it doesn't really matter whether you click on that or not, you can easily get the width of that, can't you? Yeah, that is right. I think if I'm not wrong, this should be right over here, but we'll see if it actually goes wrong and all. Instead of getting the height and sub menu width and height like this, I'd rather const sub menu width, that's actually gonna be, what's wrong anyway, so that's gonna be, we already have some menu here at the top, some menu ref, so sub menu ref dot current dot offset and we are gonna be getting the width, and similarly I'll have the height as well. As for that rect, let me just simply get this. So const sub menu height, then sub menu ref dot current dot offset and height. So this is how we'll have both of them here. Again, they can be optional, so I will just, okay, I'll make sure that the value definitely exists here, and in case it should be running only when some menu ref dot current exist, and we are getting this rect over here. Using this rect, what we are doing, we are getting the right and the top. So use event dot right and top means what? So the right and top rect dot right, so it is it will give me what? The current target. What is gonna be the current target here? I'm not sure about this thing here, that when I'm actually getting this, so the element that I click on, I get the current of that. So I'll have to check it later, but okay, never mind. As of right now, let's just simply continue. And we don't really have set menu open, so item dot label, and that's gonna be set open sub menu. Open some menu, we have said open some menu, that's gonna have the string, and this simply tells what? It tells us which some menu is actually open, because there are gonna be different sub menus, right? Interesting. So it's just simply gonna give me that information. Let me see if it is worth adding here. And how we are rendering this? First of all, on close, this is mainly for what? On close is actually used for closing the context. So this on close needs to be sent here as well. Close context menu we are passing. So let's just simply use this. So on close context menu. We are just simply gonna call it here. And if I'm passing the some menus here, for example, so first of all, divider is gonna be there. When there are some menus, so on mouse enter, handle mouse enter, so I'm passing the item and I'm passing the event. So that item is passed, item dot label. So what's the label of the item? This is actually gonna be here. When it comes to labels, it is sort of like this. Okay, so based on this label, we are sort of handling quite a lot of things. That is good. Coming back to this one, this item is actually passed. Coming back to this, once I actually have the item and the event will be that element itself, so that particular rectangle, and we are getting the right in the top, and that is right. Understood. So this is actually the place where I actually clicked, and where we actually hovered, and at that time we are getting the rect dot right and rect dot top. So wherever I hovered, So that rectangles sum menu x and sum menu y, because the sum menu should start from there only. That is right, understandable. And as for the width of the sum menu, so we can actually get it like this, so no problem here as such. Even we could have not really, this much is fine, we can easily get the width and height. And overall things are fine. We are even setting the sum menu position, that's gonna be x and y. We are setting sum menu open, that's gonna be item dot label. That simply means the sum menu is gonna be open. I'm unsure if it is where it's actually being used. So this is actually being used over here. So if open sum menu, in that case this is actually gonna be rendered, otherwise this will not be. That is good, not a bad thing either. So we are gonna have these things, and this on close. So close context menu, this is gonna be just simply called here. And let me see if I need to remove something from here. Coming back to this one, there should be a bug somewhere here. Trash icon is not quite needed here. I'm not sure if an icon is needed, so let's get rid of this. Anyway, let's just simply continue, and once this particular thing is done, then that is it. So it's quite scattered a lot here. We'll be taking care of everything, but as of right now, handle mouse enter, handle mouse leave, render menu items, we are just simply rendering them like this. And we have rector, frame, set shapes, and this is just used inside this. Handle wrap selection in frame, that is okay, we are gonna be calling this. And we have handle group selection, that is also fine. We have these things in here, and adjusted position, the adjusted position that's just being used over here, that's mainly for what? That is for the main menu. So in that case, I'm gonna get rid of this first of all, because we don't need this. And as I already have x and y, so I'm gonna be using that. So that simply means this is gonna be just x, this is gonna be just y. Some menu position, that is fine, good to have it here, but overall this is how it's gonna be going on. And if we are not even using the target and open, so we'll see where they can actually be used, because as of right now, target can be different ones. So that is right, I can just simply render it conditionally. If the target is not there, so we are gonna be returning from here. As for the open, so yeah, it should if it is open, then only it should be visible. So we'll be taking care of both these things, but before that, let's have a look at the result. Reload the page. This is how it looks like, and crazy thing is that we are getting the divider as well in here. Okay, interesting. Selected share sub menu.tsx, line number 328. Line number 328. What is the issue? and this is a bit better. So ultimately what I was doing, item.divider exists, and if it has the label, then only it should be running, but divider is sort of fine as well, and label could have been divider. Then this is fine. I should be getting the suggestions as well. Okay, now if I actually have a look at this, so here I have this, but I'm getting the dividers there as well. Interesting. What is the label in them? Label is actually divider in all. So in that case, if the item dot label is actually divider, then this should be running item dot label. So what is actually happening that first of all we have one loop, and then we are having different kinds of values in there. So item dot divider exists, and the label is also there, then this should be running, and it runs as well, but we are getting the divider in here. That's the extra one. So why is this even happening? That should not ideally happen. Why are we getting the divider, extra divider? Item dot label, any item can have a label for that sake, and if any item has a label, that's gonna be rendered here. Now this is fine. That simply means we have to just simply check it properly in here. Okay, that's good. So we are gonna be going with this way. If the item dot divider is true and the label is actually divided, in that case this particular section is gonna be running, otherwise the different one. Apart from this thing, let's talk about this different one. So whenever we hover over this, at that time we still have to just render a few more things, and whenever we click on them, so item dot action plus the close context menu gets called, that is fine, and handle mouse enter. So whenever the mouse actually enters, we are getting this. So let me just simply comment it as for right now, that we are uncommenting this one, and we'll see how it works. Not getting any there's no response as such, and not only that, it is not visible where it should actually be visible. So the x and y that I actually have for it, so top left, and this we have it here, the value of x and y, that's actually coming from this itself, menu itself. In that case, if I just simply right click, wow, that's insane, never expected this thing to happen. So use context menu, the menu that I'm actually passing, and we even have the open context menu. So whenever we right click canvas.tsx, we are passing this think about it, text editor, context menu, and we are passing the context menu itself. Coming back to this one, the same thing is actually being passed here as well, coming back to this one. So from the context menu I actually got this, but not here actually. So let's get rid of this. So whenever I'm right clicking, so context menu, open context menu, so context menu dot open context menu, something being passed in here. That the third layer context menu is gonna be this. That simply means it should be sort of getting called. So let me see if it is being called in here. CLG. That's a strange way to write that. What? Open. So use context menu open. This open is not defined. Use context menu. But why don't I have the value of open? It should be menu dot open. Come on. It should be menu dot open. And if menu is not open, then this should actually be happening. And this is just not enough. Change order selection. Select all this thing. That's fine. The only thing is that why do I see it here? What am I missing? Probably one thing, that is I don't have to make it visible if there is no target. So probably let's do one more thing, that is if I go to selected shape, visibility, hidden. So that's gonna be true if target is not equals to selection. Well, that's what I wanted. And if I just simply draw something, suppose this one, if I right click, so I'm getting this. Now it of course goes beyond that, so we have to take care of that. But overall this is fine, right? The only thing is that the value of x and y, that is fixed though. That's insane. So the current logic doesn't really support this, so the previous logic was fine. So calculating the value of x and y, why doesn't the current logic actually support this? Let me see. So whenever I right click, we open it, and whenever we open this, and at that time we get the current target, and then we get the position. The position is gonna be x and y, and whenever we are getting the position, this is where we need to change a few things, or probably many. It is not working. Why? as soon as I clicked on that, we already have the menu. The right menu is actually being passed in here. Time to go with the previous logic that I had, but why is this not working? Not sure. So let me see that CLG first I had adjusted x and adjusted y, and then just after that I had it again. I'd like to check if the values are actually being changed or not. This is gonna be the second time, and so this is same. It does not change at all. Interesting. So it doesn't change. What is the value of rect dot right? CLG rect dot right. Zero. What the hell? That is why it doesn't seem to be working. So the question is that rect is the menu. Menu is nothing but the selection menu ref or the canvas menu ref that I'm actually passing, and this is the HTML div. CLG menu, that's gonna be menu, CLG rect is gonna be just below that. So this is the overall full menu. Okay, that's fine. That is why it was 0 0. I have to fix this. So the selection menu, wherever it's being used, that's the wrong place. So if I actually go to select a shape menu, well, this is not the right place to keep it. Rather, this is gonna be the main menu. So I'll actually have the ref here, and this is the main menu. I don't actually need to have it here. Rather, it's gonna be the selection. Call it main menu or some menu, that depends. And now if I actually have a look, it is still 0. So we get this, that is 0. What the hell? 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. You gotta be kidding me. Now I'm getting the right rect. If I'm actually getting this right rect, probably not yet. It doesn't matter. I should it should be working, but the DOM rect are 0 0 0. क्या हुआ? अब क्या हुआ भाई? No, 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 no. The element get bounding box method returns the DOM object providing information about the size of an element, its position, relative code and all. भाई तो वही तो मैं करने की ट्राई कर रहा. It is definitely gets element dot get bounding client, so the element that I'm actually getting that has 0 0. So क्या करूँ मैं. That simply means we cannot get the rect directly, so there's another way, that is using event dot client x and all. That is also possible, but the question is, why am I not getting the value of it? Why is the value of rect is 0? Why is the value of the rect? Why is the key value of rect 0? क्या हुआ? Almost always means element isn't being laid out when you measure it. Looking at your code, there are few likely causes. The main menu is hidden, display none. The menu is conditionally rendered like this. That is right. Display none, so return something like this. You are measuring before React has rendered the menu, for example, like this. That is fine. At this point, menu will current either is null or exists and visibility hidden. The ref isn't attached yet. अरे भाई ऐसे भी होता है क्या? Can you show here? Yeah. Selected shapes. क्या हो गया? Selection if the value of it is undefined as per this, but this is how it actually goes. This is the result that I get. The important clue is this, absolute style. Notice that the menu has no children. Menu has no children. Oh yeah, they are being rendered there. How can I forget that? So set this, then this. Yeah, what is happening over here? That not this. Let me even copy it. We are rendering it conditionally over here, sort of like this, and that's when that's actually being rendered conditionally, that simply means when that appears at the same time we don't really have its width and all, so probably we'll have to calculate it. Interesting. So let's do one thing. Let's not do one thing. The problem is when you are measuring in open context menu, you are doing this and then setting the value. At this point, open menu is open is still false. React hasn't rendered the menu at this new position. The browser hasn't done layout, so get returns zeros. The correct flow can be instead of right click measure menu open menu, right click open menu React renders browser layouts measure menu. Ha! One way to implement is this that open context set it here. गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. Use layout effect. ना बाबा ना, हमें नहीं करना ऐसे, बट करना पड़ेगा भैया. कमाल है. One thing is clear that as soon as we right click it is not open, so that's actually false. So when that is actually false, so whenever the open context menu runs, it is actually it's becoming true over here. Before that it is false, that simply that hasn't been rendered. That simply means I'm doomed. Any way around this? Open some menu. I'm not really using this open here. As expected, we have to have it here. We have to calculate the width and we have to assume the width and all. That's the only way out here, like, so that on the basis of that assumption we can calculate whether it should be there or not, and after that it can be done this way. Any better way? Better way. If target is not equals to if target is not equals to selection, if that is equals to selection, so that's actually gonna be rendered over here. Not really bad. I'm definitely missing something. What is that? As soon as we right click, it just simply opens, and as expected. There is no selection canvas ref by then. So before we even open this, such a loop this is. Uh, how can I fix this here? It needs to be open, but when it opens, I need its width and all, height, all these things. So there's only one way, that is mm, selection menu. I'll have to remove it first of all. Now it's gonna be visible directly, but what can be done now? Another thing, the condition is wrong. This return a click cannot be inside both menus at the same time. So it should be or. That is fine. And then close context. I also imply since we only open menu open at a time, I'd use a single ref menu ref and render either canvas menu or the selection menu inside it. Then all your measuring and outside click logic only has to deal with only one element. Reduce that is fine. Good suggestion, but contains current target. That simply means whenever we are closing this, if that contains this or this, yeah, that's right, any one of them can be true. This is not running. That simply means I do not have the value of selection menu ref. one thing we can do, we can just set the display none. Visibility is not gonna be here. Visibility, and that's gonna be hidden, but that doesn't mean that is not visible, right? And when it should be hidden, if target is not equals to selection, then it should be hidden. Bro, what is, I'm not able to select these, so there is some layer at the top. What is that? I'm not able to select anything at all. So where am I actually clicking? Just a sec. This is the main menu. On click, it's the insert 0. This is gonna be on the entire screen. Close context menu. So whenever we click outside, then it should be closed, and it is gonna be over, I mean everywhere. That's not a bad idea either. So whenever we click on the canvas, we can even have this, right? And closing this has already been done. On click, that is fine, but let's make it visibility hidden. I'll be hiding it all instead of just hiding this much. Because if that is visible, then that is visible. I should not be able to do anything at all, so that is fine as well. So all of it is gonna be hidden, so great. This sort of works, but only one thing missing, that is even if it is hidden, it's gonna be like I cannot really click on anything. That is great, but again, as expected, we get it here. Great. So this time, top, bottom we have, left we have, right we have, width we have. Interesting. So we just needed to have the right. So we have this. From the right, it is 256 pixels away, and from the left it is 0 pixels away. Is that so? it is fixed, isn't this? Doesn't matter where I click, it always remains 256. Let me have a look at that. This main menu ref, we have the selection ref over here, context menu, and get menu position, rect dot right, get rid of this, rect dot right, the rectangle that we need. So if we actually have the menu, so we should be getting the rect as well. So I can get rid of this completely, I can get rid of this as well, and now we have this in here. So the value rect always remains that. Why is that so? Let me have a look at this again. So width is 256, right is 256, and bottom. So ultimately it gives me what? The right value. The right and the width, they are the same. What does right give us here? What does right give us here? Because width and right are same, and that too are 256 pixel around. So, and especially when it comes to this as well, the height is 606. I don't think this is the right one after getting computed. Returns coordinates related to the viewport, not just the element size. So relationships are left plus width, top plus height, bottom. Because the element is currently positioned at left 0. Element is currently positioned at left 0. So left plus width, that's gonna be right. Oh yeah, as expected. So the another thing that we have to do, that whenever we click on that, it actually has the current value as well, current index. Or to be precise, what I'm actually gonna do, like it's gonna be quite hard to get the exact left and right values if I directly depend on this, because it is not directly accessible. So I'm gonna be completely getting rid of it, and instead what I'll do, that is this right gives us the coordinate only, right? So we can easily get its we can easily get its width and height. We don't really have any problem with that as such. As for this value, rect dot right, I'm actually gonna use event dot client ax. So if event dot client ax is actually greater than this, then window width and then this particular thing is gonna be running. Same event dot client y. Now it should be fine. So rect dot height, rect dot width just simply returns me the height and width. They are always gonna be the same. So that's all right. And as for the event, position, that may change. So that is why we are deciding it like this. And that's it. So the value of x and y, that's not being okay, fine. More changes. What is the next one? Okay, so once we have adjusted this, and I'm not sure if it is actually getting triggered. Goes off. This is never really getting triggered. Why? Window width, that's gonna be inner width minus padding, and if it is greater than that, so clg event dot client x. This is it. So 848, 992. That's the current coordinate. The logic is wrong here. Event dot client x, that's the current coordinate where I'm actually clicking, and window width minus padding. In that case, it simply returns us the window width. It cannot be greater than window width, right? That is right. So it should actually be plus rect dot width. So the width of the rect, ultimately that, and the client x, if that is greater than that, yeah, that will work. Then plus rect dot height. That is great, because if you actually have a look over here, so rect actually returns us. Okay, forget about that. Let's simply cancel it. So what is rect dot height? So when it comes to rect dot height, not even rect dot height, rect dot right, actually that was being used over here. So rect dot right, this is nothing but x plus width, right? And that is why we are using it here. Now it should work fine, I hope so, as expected. That's what I wanted. So doesn't matter where you click, it should always be in the middle. So congratulations, now we fixed this. Goes off, get rid of this, everything is sort of fine. Selection, this fine. If I actually come back to this one, so we are gonna be hiding the top level itself when if the target is not selection or open or not open. Not open means if it is false. If it is true, then it will false. If it is false, then it will become true, then it will become hidden. If it is true, then it will become false, then that simply means undefined. That's fine. Arey bhaiya, I think it's gonna work fine, so let's just simply keep it here. Yeah, so doesn't matter where you click, you are gonna get it inside there. Interesting, that's what we wanted. It took a while, but one more thing. We have to fix this part as well. So whenever we right click, ultimately context, so we are let's have a look at this properly now. So what is happening now, that is whenever I click the context, so use context, so whenever we are opening that, we are not even using this window padding, so we'll take care of it, but whenever open context is happening, so this way we go ahead. So we have to make that element selected. And when it comes to getting the target, it actually depends on this selected shape. When there are shapes, that is fine. When there's no selected shape, so we click here, then we do this. CLG hit a shape. It's not even getting triggered. There's something wrong with this. This never runs. Get menu target. Hi. Reload the page, draw something. That's just not being selected for some reason. Set selector shape ID, shape.id, that is okay. One thing we are missing. What is that? Whenever we click outside, that's never getting set to null. That is problematic. Whenever we are closing this, set selected shape ID is to the center, set it to entry. Okay, it seems to be working now. There was something that was missing. So whenever we click outside, so that simply means whenever we are getting rid of this, we are just simply setting them to empty. Let me check this thing whether it actually works this way or not. Excalidraw.com. Yeah, as expected, whenever we click out, that gets deselected again in this board, in the same way we are doing it in our case, right? So interesting. Now it's time to focus on the other things, like this sum menu section that hasn't been fixed yet. So whenever I click on it, so I get this, but I don't get this sub menu, so I still have to work on this particular section, and then it is gonna be sort of overall the UI section will be done. We still have to work on many things. I'm just gonna take a break for a while. How long has it been? Around 1 hour 46 minutes. I'll be back after half an hour or something, and then we'll continue from here on, and this is how it will be just simply going on and on. Until then, bye bye, take care, and see you.